Welcome to Evoke Tech Talks, a podcast series for technology and business. Our podcast will feature renowned technologists with real-life industry experiences. We bring you a wide variety of topics in manufacturing, oil and gas, healthcare, BFSI, retail, pharma, and education domains. For digital insights, trends, and best practices in real business scenarios, let's dive deep into the episode. Here we go.
My name is Nelson Taggart. I've been selling into the enterprise space for the past 10 years. I've worked for ADP Services, CenturyLink, and Microsoft. I've also put in a lifetime of technical support for my parents. I love playing music, playing soccer, and my beautiful wife and kids. Dear listeners, we are back with an amazing session, and I'm pleased to welcome HARRY Brandiccourt, Director, Strategic Partnerships and Growth Strategies from the Up app. HARRY has over 30 years of experience as a strong business leader who aims to deliver innovative and sustainable human-centered solutions. HARRY has held senior leadership positions in nearly every functional business area. He has been in big companies and owned his own. He has great interests in technologies, one that makes big data sets useful and applicable to improve the human condition and how to use technology to enrich people's existence. Apart from being a leader and a technologist, HARRY loves cycling, camping, anything outdoors, and physical. We are fortunate to have HARRY Brandiccourt on our podcast today. I'm sure our listeners will become more than happy to gain real technology insights. Without much ado, let's get right into the episode. Welcome to the show, HARRY.
Thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
To begin with, what is the most satisfying work experience you thoroughly enjoy in your role as Director of Strategic Partnerships and Growth Strategies?
Well, without a doubt, anytime that I get interaction with our end users and with our customers, that's the most exciting time for me, because they're the reason that we do the work that we do. And they also give us inspiration and insights and ideas on the jobs that we can do to make their lives better, or the problems that we can solve. So it's every single time that I'm able to get out with customers, and that's outstanding.
That's awesome. How does your typical day look like? How much time do you spend on your physical and mental well-being?
So I thought that was an interesting question, because there's really kind of two pieces there, and they're, to me, totally separate. So the physical and mental well-being is really about good habits and trying to take care of the mind, body, and the soul. And so I spend, like you mentioned in the intro, I love to do cycling. I love to do things, camping outside, basically anything with family and friends. And so that's a huge element. So the other part is around kind of the physical aspects, do a lot of yoga, do a lot of meditation, those type of things. And then spending a lot of time with journaling. And I follow Stoicism, that view and that notion of, I really start every day talking about three things. One is, what are the things that are going to make that day great? So what are the things that I'm hoping to do that at the end of the day, I'd say, yeah, that was a really good day. The second is around gratitude. Often it's three things in gratitude, just things that I'm grateful for and happy that life has given us and that I'm appreciating. And then the last one is intentions, and it's how to live that day, and just things that I want to do better or focus on or think about. And so that's about it on well-being. And then in what does a typical day look like? It is a mixture, and this changes between taking care of our employees, and because as much as I love spending time with our customers, it's all of our employees and team members that make it all happen. So there's a lot of time spent in recruiting and in nurturing, making sure that they're growing, and that we're enabling them to do the best work that they can do. The other part is around our product. And so focusing on what we're going to do based on the inputs that we're getting from our customers, or what are the insights we're getting from industry or from the market, or even our employees, that they say, hey, this is stuff that we can work on. I think it's important that customer insight, voice of customer, is absolutely critical. But I loved it that, those quotes from Steve Jobs or Ford, when they said, if they'd asked people what they wanted, we never would have gotten the Model T and we never would have gotten the iPhone because they had no
Agreed.
concept. So we're aware of that. And then the last piece is around kind of the culture of what we're doing. I'm a big proponent of the 3 C's, which is communication, collaboration, and coordination. And we run our company around that, very, very transparent. And in order to make those 3 C's work, you just have to make sure that everybody's always linked up and they're moving forward. And so that's the majority of my days. It's around those 3 things. Then the last piece has to do with our investors, right? So there's always the talking to the board, updating our investors or where we need to do investments and that type of stuff. So keeps us busy. There's a lot of different angles, and it's no 2 days are the same.
Harry, that sounds phenomenal, and couldn't agree with you more on everything you said, especially around communication, the 3 C's you were mentioning, and that balance that you certainly ascribe to. That's phenomenal. Thanks for sharing that with me. Hey, Harry, we've gone this far. I would love for you to tell us a little bit more about UpApp. Let's let our listeners know what it is that your organization does.
I'm, in addition to my role at Up, I'm managing director for an investment group, and where we have several companies in the digital space. And Up is a digital solution. It is an app on Android and iOS, and it's also available on desktop. And essentially, it is trying to change or digitize the old process of asking for service and then connecting basically the people who need service on their industrial machines to the people that can provide that service. So it's a little bit like an Uber in the Uberization, and that it's taking people that need service and connecting people that can provide that service.
So UpApp is revolutionizing the way manufacturers find solutions to pressing repair and maintenance services. What digital trends do you think are the crux to such a solid digital platform?
Yeah, so the trends are essentially handhelds are ubiquitous, right? Everybody now has a handheld. There's still some folks with some flip phones in our industry. That's fine. But, the vast majority of folks at least have some version of a smartphone. And more, they're doing their work that way. And so that's number one. Number two is the bandwidth becoming so much more available all over the country. Now, it's interesting because once you get into a plant with all that concrete and all the cement and all the steel, sometimes it's not as good, right? You can't really get a signal, or if you're really remote, then you're not getting a signal. So part of our solutions need to be asynchronous. So then we're applying the technology that says, hey, while you're in the plant, this is going to work fine. Because once you get back to the highway or once you get back to a signal, then we'll sync all that up for you. So those are examples of some of the problems we're solving with this, and they're taking advantage of exactly that internet ubiquity of handhelds and the bandwidth.
As a product platform that is used by leading manufacturing clients, what is the biggest challenge that your enterprise has overcome?
Yeah, the number one is getting them to do things a little differently. So particularly in our space, for industrial machine repair, the first thing they call is the OEM. And, traditionally OEMs have been focused on selling new equipment. And so they almost gave away the service, right? Service wasn't, so they can call the OEM, and sometimes the OEM will fix it under warranty or just to keep the relationship. So that's their first call. They try to get the OEM to take care of it. If the OEM's too busy or it's too much of a lead time, like hey, we'll be there in 2 months, they need it right away, then they call their distributor. That's always the second call. It's been that way for a long, long time. And then if they can't get the distributor, then they're going to their local guy. And maybe they've got a local guy, but they know they're going to have to pay that local guy, whereas the OEM sometimes will do it kind of pro bono. So that's been the sequence of what they do. What they've used us for traditionally to date is when all of those three are busy, and right now in this day and age with the talent gaps and with the way the economy is, those guys are actually very busy. And so They call us as a last resort. They're like, I got to get this machine up and I got nobody. And so they call us. Now, our big challenge is that they call us and our app runs through, figures out what machine they have, what technology you have, what geography, and other pieces of data that we use to run our algorithm. And then they match them with a service provider. But then once they've got that service provider cell phone, they're probably going and just calling them on the phone like they used to. So that's our biggest challenge. Our biggest challenge is to bring technology, to bring solutions, to bring capabilities to our platform so that they want to stay within the platform and they gain value by doing their business through it. So that's our biggest challenge right now, getting them to change from the old way.
Wow, that's great. So really, augmented reality is the force to reckon with. What are your thoughts on the impact of augmented reality glasses in manufacturing, and how does that play into your solution?
Augmented reality and glasses are different, right? I mean, you can do augmented reality directly on the phone. Currently, our app has a live video capability. So again, the problem we were solving there is if you have two iPhones, you can FaceTime to each other. But if one guy's got an Android phone, one guy's got an Apple phone, then you're hosed, right? And that happens all the time. So we solved that by providing a video capability that is platform independent. So it doesn't matter whether you're on your desktop, whether you're on an Android phone or iOS, and it works. Now that's not augmented reality, but for our industry, that was a step up of what was available right now. And so that exists on the app today. There are some solutions that we've looked at that would allow you to like circle valves or circle gauges or look at a printout or a PLC diagrams and mark them, do some kind of stuff where you're actually marking. Honestly, we don't think that that's going to be super helpful for our folks right now. And they're certainly not asking for it. They're not going, hey, I absolutely have to have this. We also keep an eye, like I said, to the industry and what other folks are doing. And so we go to CES in Vegas, for example, Consumer Electronics Show, because that's often really the cutting edge. And so we've met with some of those folks, and their businesses are just barely getting going too. I mean, they've got a couple of big ones. It's not like on the adoption curve, we're not at the point where this is ubiquitous and everybody's got it. So I think it's got a lot of promise. It's a little early for us and for our folks.
Yep, that makes sense. What is your take on voice command based machine interaction?
So I think voice is cool. I've got Google Voice in my house. So I talk to my house, and in fact, we just moved. And that was one of the first devices I put in, right? Because it's what I use to set the alarm. It's what I use to check the weather. If I want to check the hours at, Lowe's hardware store, that's the way I do it now. And so it's definitely convenient and it's quick and it's easy. Again, it's not something that we're seeing a huge uptake on in the plants. And also the plant environment is pretty darn noisy. So it's sometimes hard enough to have a phone conversation, right? When you're sitting in a plant talking to somebody, especially if you're trying to get some tech support in there, to try to get voice commands. Again, I think it's a good technology. I think it's interesting. It's going to come online more. There are just other things in our development pipeline that we'll do before we end up doing that. So, for example, we've just made our platform multilingual. So now we do all of North America. So now we can help Mexico, we can do Canada, we're ready to do Europe, especially German and Italian or French. We could do Japan, Chinese. So it was, when you look at those two things, is it better that we can talk to the app and have it respond, or is it better that you can do it in whatever language you want?
Yeah, very good. I appreciate you sharing that with me today. So maybe you could give me your predictions on how using digital channels for repairs and maintenance services would help your clients achieve operational efficiency.
Well, obviously, I think that there's huge opportunity, right? That's a space. I think it's big. I can tell you, we think about it based on personas or who the different players are. So one of the really interesting things we've seen is in our industry, and this won't come as a surprise to anybody who knows our industry, industrial manufacturing, and it's incredible. We've got jobs that pay $80, $100, $120,000 pretty early on, right? I mean, you don't have to be in for 15, 20 years to get to those levels, yet we cannot fill them. It is the most crazy thing in this industry that it's just, you can't get people to go do this work. Right? And so, and it's an industry issue of just not having enough talent available. So what we are bringing to that is the ability to leverage the folks that you already have. So for example, a lot of the folks that have been doing this, they've been on the road for a while, they're tired of being on the road, but they're more than happy to provide service remotely. COVID in a way helped us out, right? And so you can put a more junior person or even somebody from the maintenance group in that plant, and you can walk them through it, again, using our video capabilities, using our ways of sharing documents and manuals and all those things. You can walk them through what needs to be done. And so it offloads that total amount of work and reduces it and makes it more efficient.
Very good. I appreciate you sharing that again with us, Harry. That sounds like a very, very interesting business model that you're in, and with bounds of opportunity. So we are now coming to the part where I'm going to ask you a few questions. It's called the rapid fire round. So I hope you're ready for this, and we'll just go with that. We'll see what happens. So if you attempt to write a novel, what genre would it be?
Oh, it'd have to be a travel guide. I would, one of my big goals in life is I want to do the Tour Divide, which is a bicycle trip from Banff, Canada, down to Antelope Falls, New Mexico. And so I would write a guide on that. It's been written before, but I'd have my view on it.
What's your favorite holiday getaway?
My favorite holiday is any holiday that my family can get together for.
Awesome. Which leadership quotes keep you motivated?
I think I don't know if it's a leadership quote, but there's that Elvis Costello song that says, "What's so funny about peace, love, and understanding?" And I believe that we need all three of those in greater quantity in the world. So I don't know if it's what's so funny, but I spend my time thinking about how we get a little bit more peace, how we get a little bit more love, and how we get a little bit more understanding.
Thank you, Harry, for sharing such valuable insights. And thank you for your time with us.
Absolutely. It was my pleasure.
Who we are. We are Evoke Technologies with 2 decades of experience in executing effective digital solutions. Evoke brings modernization to enterprise applications, cloud, analytics, testing, and automation. We have become the preferred technology partner for many enterprises throughout our unwavering project delivery. If you have any questions, do write to us, and we would be happy to answer them. Subscribe to the show to never miss our insight-rich technology episodes. Thank you very much for tuning in to Evoke Tech Talks.